So let Apple deliver us what it does best, a mind-bending science fiction drama. When it comes to this, Apple TV Plus truly shines out among the other streaming services. And even after just 2 episodes, Dark Matter has created a complex interest. The road back to his own reality appears to be the very thing that this show will revolve around, following Jason, a family guy who was kidnapped and finally woke up in a world he didn't 100% recognize. Let's go right into the show and dissect all that was learned from the 2nd episode, which ended with a lot of questions unanswered and Jason in serious danger once more. Dark Matter episodes 1 and 2's conclusion are discussed here. Just so you know, spoilers will be in this video. Daniela said something in the opening 2 episodes that essentially sums up everything that was happening. It was during her speech at her art show. The decisions we take define our lives, and those decisions build entire universes. We live in every one of them at the same time. This is the greatest approach to make an attempt to determine a basic comprehension of what was really happening. Jason was plainly kidnapped by himself while wearing a mask the night Ryan won the Pavia Award, and he woke up in a reality that was both identical and entirely different. The other reality was established at the moment when he quit pursuing the desire in his life, while the Jason who did pursue the dream and went on to achieve a great deal of success in the industry continued on a totally different path. This is the reason Jason 1 had children, wed Daniela, and woke up in the new world not knowing about the celebrity, but Jason 2 had none of that family. Throughout the episode, they were subtly hinting to the existence of 2 other realities with the same individuals, and a lot of this was due to certain objects in the backdrop of shots. One item that attracted a lot of attention was that the taproom sign was a whole different color in both of the realities. The artwork had great significance as well. For instance, artwork would frequently be mirrored on opposing sides of the canvas, and even in different colors as well, almost to indicate that they were 2 identical pieces with only minor variations. Furthermore, the room where Jason 1 awoke contained artwork on the wall that had 2 identical items. A figure in Jason 2's home had 3 identical faces, which does give me hope that a 3rd Jason may eventually show up. Furthermore intriguing was the fact that Jason's house number, 44, is made up of 2 4s that nearly mirror each other. Thus the illusions were there from the beginning. Looking over the information he discovered, Jason 1 recognized that the idea he had been trying to produce all those years ago was exactly what Jason 2 had created, and that Jason 2 had done it by working in the sterile chamber. The big box that effectively let him move between the several realities which are formed every time a new choice is made was this innovation. If he went on to start a large firm and achieve success, fame, and riches, it appears that that wasn't what was bringing him happiness, even if he was able to build the exact thing that his heart craved when he was younger. Jason 2 therefore used that very invention to look for the life and route he wanted he had chosen. Jason 2 appears to be sorry for the route he took in deciding to put business before of his love and leaving Daniela when she was pregnant. It appears that is mostly the reason Jason 2 is looking for Daniela as he is living in Jason 1's universe. There are also the odd events inside the company, where he practically appears to be a prisoner of his own business and the work they do. But I believe it was more about pursuing the life he had hoped to have all those years ago. Personally, I doubt Jason 2 will be able to survive in the reality he discovered for very long. Daniela seemed content with this confident, new Jason in her life. Nevertheless, there will undoubtedly come a time when he will err and something will go wrong because he does not know the most basic of things like where the coffee goes or which toothbrush to use. Schrodinger's cat was one topic that I felt was fascinating, and that was covered a lot in episode 1 of the show. The thought experiment Schrodinger's cat illustrates the notion that microscopic particles can exist in 2 states simultaneously until they are noticed. Take the idea of a cat in a box with something that could kill it. The cat is both alive and dead until you open the box and have a look. Accordingly, a particle or atom that follows quantum principles lacks a reality that can be fixed until it is measured. It is therefore in 2 separate states at once unless it is properly observed. With Jason and his son nearly running through a red light and getting into a traffic collision in the 1st episode, as well as Jason almost being struck by a taxi, death was teased a lot, so I assumed the program would follow that path. The idea still makes sense though, because the 2 Jasons are in 2 distinct states at the moment, and it's something that doesn't really exist until they're together. The episode ended with Jason 1 still living at Daniela's house, the same Daniela who went on to have a prosperous career in art. But when Jason opened the door, Daniela was dead and Jason was kidnapped once more, but by employees of his company this time. It does beg the question of what secrets they have to hide. as they were cautious about the information Jason would reveal about the experiments taking place inside the building walls. It does beg the question of how Jason would respond given that Daniela is dead in this world, and he has now lost the sole partner he had while negotiating the both familiar and strange terrain. Commentaire des episodes, I must admit that I thoroughly liked the first 2 episodes of the show. Although Apple has released a lot of science fiction lately, I believe this one seems really unique and is easy to follow and understand despite its fundamental complexity. Constellation's cast performances were one of my major issues. I wasn't really engrossed in them or the universe, but this one feels quite different. It's a wonderfully thought-provoking topic to consider the notion that realities are created the instant you make a significant decision and to give decisions in your life, which do have significant ramifications, such importance. As Jason, Joel Edgerton was excellent in these episodes as well. He's not been in many films lately, but this seems like a part he will truly own. Like the rest of the ensemble, he is effectively playing 2 separate roles, but it's incredibly entertaining to watch because of how clearly different his personalities are. As is typical of most Apple TV shows, this one is well filmed and looks incredibly glossy. The audible cue provided a clever approach to implement the recurring motif of the click, which indicates to us that we are moving between the several worlds. Blake Crouch wrote the 2016 book of the same name, and he also wrote the TV series. Although I haven't read the book, it has a wonderful rating, and I believe it has transferred to the other method this narrative is being conveyed. Jason is the only one who really understands what's happening, and the only one who can return to the reality he calls home. Hence the stakes are enormous. The house he used to feel comfortable in, and perhaps wondered what life would have been like if he had achieved the success he had always wanted. I'm curious as to how he plans to find his way back home, locate the box, and then rejoin his family. Being an 8-episode series, I'm rather interested to see where it goes because if it keeps going in this route, I think this show has a lot of potential. Indeed. That concludes Dark Matter episodes 1 and 2 with explanations. Click the card in the top right corner to view additional videos about the newest TV shows and films. Alternatively, you can find them all over on my channel. Come back every Wednesday to get a fresh episode analysis as I will be covering the whole season. How did the first episode strike you? Tell me what you think in the space provided for comments below. I appreciate your watching the video as usual, and I'll see you in the next one.